I didn't anticipate that Tuesday afternoon would turn into anything out of the ordinary. As I pulled into the driveway of our suburban home, I was deep in thought, reflecting on the long workday I'd just completed. My name is Aidan, and I'm 28 years old. I was still living at home, saving money for a place of my own. While it wasn't ideal, it had its advantages, like not worrying about cooking or laundry. As I stepped out of the car, the warm summer air wrapped around me. The sun was beginning its descent, casting long shadows over the perfectly manicured grass. From the backyard, I could hear the faint sounds of laughter, which lifted my spirits. It was probably my stepmother, Aurora, playing with our golden retriever, Max. She had been part of our family for about 5 years, and though I was initially unsure of her presence, I'd come to appreciate her warmth and vitality. I started walking toward the house, loosening my tie, but when I reached the side yard and looked over toward the backyard, I stopped in my tracks. Aurora was sitting on the grass, cross-legged, her honey blonde hair flowing in the breeze. She was wearing a simple sundress, looking relaxed and at ease. Max was bouncing around her, eagerly dropping a tennis ball at her feet. "Come on, Max, go get it." She laughed, the sound light and carefree. I couldn't help but smile, watching the playful exchange between them. There was a grace to her movements and a joy that radiated from her that I hadn't fully noticed before. As Max returned with the ball, Aurora caught sight of me. "Aidan, you're home early," she said, her voice bright, and she motioned for me to come over. I felt an unexpected wave of anxiety rush through me. It was strange because I'd never felt this way before around her. "Hi, Aurora," I said, trying to sound casual, but my voice was quieter than I intended. I wasn't sure why, but something in me felt unsettled. "I left work early today." She smiled warmly and gestured to the grass beside her. "I'm glad you joined us. Max has so much energy today." I sat down beside her, the scent of her perfume filling the air, a subtle, floral fragrance that made me feel dizzy for a moment. Max dropped the ball between us, and Aurora giggled. "I think he wants you to throw it this time," she said, her eyes twinkling with amusement. I picked up the ball, trying not to think too much about the way she was looking at me. The more I focused on it, the more my heart started racing. As we threw the ball for Max, I noticed how close we were, how each slight touch of her arm against mine sent a strange feeling through me. I was trying to be normal, trying to act like I wasn't noticing the way her laughter made my pulse quicken. This was Aurora, my stepmother, someone who had been part of my life for years. So why was everything feeling so different all of a sudden? "Are you okay?" she asked, her voice soft. Her question caught me off guard, and I quickly realized I'd been staring. My face flushed with embarrassment. "Just thinking," I mumbled, unsure of how to explain the feelings that had started to stir inside me. She seemed to sense my discomfort and rested a hand on my arm, offering a comforting touch. "You know, you can always talk to me," she said gently, her voice low and reassuring. The way she spoke, it made my heart race, and I couldn't quite place why. Was it the warmth of her touch, or the way she seemed to truly care? I nodded, grateful for her understanding, but inside, I was filled with a mix of emotions I wasn't sure I could sort through. After a while, Max collapsed between us, exhausted from his play, and we both sat quietly. The sun was now dipping low, painting the sky in brilliant hues of orange and pink, but my mind wasn't on the sunset. I couldn't stop thinking about the way my feelings toward Aurora had shifted, how I was beginning to see her in a different light, one I didn't know how to handle. She stood up, brushing off the grass from her dress. "We should probably head inside. I need to start dinner soon." I stood up as well, but the tension that had built between us lingered in the air. There was a sudden understanding between us, something unspoken but felt. As we walked toward the house, the uneasy feeling that had settled inside me only deepened. What was this? Why was I feeling this way? I knew I couldn't let this shift in feelings dictate my actions, but the more I tried to push it down, the more it seemed to rise. Inside, as Aurora began preparing dinner, her movements were graceful, effortless. and I couldn't help but watch her entranced by even the simplest actions, like tucking a strand of hair behind her ear. I was caught up in my own thoughts when I heard my name, snapping me out of my reverie. "Aiden, would you mind setting the table?" she asked, her voice as calm and composed as ever. I nodded, my heart still racing from everything that had transpired. The evening had changed somehow, and I wasn't sure whether I was happy about it or filled with regret. All I knew was that something had shifted, and I wasn't sure if it was for the better.